Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down into bite-sized pieces. Today, we've got some great stories about regulation, progress, and free money. So first up, Bitcoiners take aim at tech giant. Petition calls for the U.S. Senate to subpoena Google, and $1.4 billion in Bitcoin is on the move, as well as Ripple is sending $10 million in XRP to co-founder Jed McCaleb as per the requirements of the settlement. Plus, XRP liquidity surges to hit new record as XRP adoption spreads wider throughout Mexico, Australia, and Philippines. And we're going to take a look at a new report by Ripple. And finally, Square Crypto doubles down on supporting Bitcoin developers. So essentially, these developers are going to get free money for their work on Bitcoin, and why this is so important and why Square is actually doing this. And finally, we'll go over the scam of the day. And for all those who have participated, I want to say thank you. We've gotten rid of a lot of scams and we're looking to do more, but we'll go over that at the very last part. Let's dive into today's stories. So first up, Bitcoiners take aim at tech giant, which is Google, and they're looking for the U.S. Senate to drag in Google for a subpoena to have a hearing before the U.S. Senate. Members of the crypto community are pushing back against Google. They say the tech giant continues to censor Bitcoin and cryptocurrency-related news apps while also deplatforming crypto content contributors on YouTube. So this story is definitely relatable to me. I'm going to get into exactly why that is in a second. The campaign also hopes to draw more attention to Bitcoin and engage Google and its subsidiary, YouTube, in discussion about the need to support cryptocurrencies. Google recently removed crypto-centric apps MetaMask and Bitcoin Blast from Google Play. Now, when they say recently, it wasn't like yesterday. This was a couple weeks ago to a month or maybe even 2 months ago where this happened, but it was reinstated. And they also stopped several crypto YouTubers from posting video content it deemed inappropriate. And while the ban appears to have been reversed and the majority of the YouTubers reinstated, new reports of ongoing censorship have surfaced. Moving on, according to the authors of the Fork Google campaign, that's catchy, the tech giant is censoring Bitcoin apps and videos in an open act of war. It states here, this is what they're complaining about. Google and its subsidiary YouTube have waged campaigns of suppression against Bitcoin and blockchain industry for years. This behavior can only be compared to open acts of war. Currently, Google and YouTube systematically engage in the following activities: blocking cryptocurrency-related ad campaigns, deleting or limiting access to information pertaining to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on YouTube, pursuing a hostile information policy with regard to cryptocurrency projects, and removing apps of cryptocurrency-related companies, media resources from Google Play. And then it starts to talk about what they're going to do to push back and da-da-da. So here's my thoughts on this. So they want the U.S. Senate to drag in Google and to distinguish Google as to why they're doing these types of behaviors and what they're going to do to correct it. Well, first of all, they can do that, and they can definitely drag in Google. But have you seen the U.S. senators? I mean, have you seen them? Have you watched them? Have you understood exactly what they understand? Well, no one really knows, but I can tell you this. Technology is not on their high list of priorities. When Mark Zuckerberg was hauled into Congress or before the Senate judiciary panels or any kind of panel, I forgot which one it was, but he ran circles around him, and they asked him the most ridiculous questions because either they didn't do the research or their aides or whoever else gave them just the worst information. And it was like ridiculous, and nothing has changed. So if you're going to have leadership in Google get dragged in before the U.S. Senate and ask them the questions like, hey, did you guys, well, first of all, what's cryptocurrency? Can you let us know? And then second of all, they're going to ask them, why did you guys do this? Oh, you did because of that? Okay, sounds good. They're not going to understand. They're not going to understand, and it's just going to be a big fiasco. Now, as time moves on and these senators become well-versed, then sure, yeah. And it has nothing to do with their age. I'll just tell you that right now. There are some people in Congress, some people in Senate, and a lot of people on my channel who are of an advanced age, 40, 50, and 60, who actually get it, and they leave great comments, and they understand what's going on because they've taken the time. It has nothing to do with age. It just has to do with the ability or their wishes to actually learn this and take the time to understand it. Because when Google comes in, they're just going to be like, yeah, we do it because of this and because of this algorithm and this is how it goes and da-da-da. Okay, thank you very much. Tip your hat, off you go. So that's one part of it. I mean, if they want to do that, I mean, so much the better. Great, because we know that this algorithm that YouTube used does kind of suck, and it does tend to target YouTubers. However, I'm just going to tell you my story. So I got a strike, and this is behind the scenes, my YouTube studio. I got a initial warning for a video that I put out, which was called Neobank to Offer Crypto, and it was a pretty good one. I mean, it had like 10,000 views in a day. Really happy. Well, then the second day it got removed, and I was like, what the heck? Why was this removed? And the first thing I thought of, and this is people's initial reaction, is those damn people, they're trying to censor me, and that's not right. Freedom of speech, I can't believe this. And then I calmed down and I started to look at exactly why they removed it. So the first thing was, this was a video which talked about a European bank, which was an online bank, and how they were moving into the US and going to offer cryptocurrency in all 50 states. Great, fantastic. But then there were some other segments, because I usually do like 2, 3, sometimes even 4, where I talked about online gambling, which was for a blockchain company. I can't remember the name right now, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to get this one removed. But where they were using, it was a blockchain-based game where they were using horse races. I mean, they were, digitalized blockchain-type horses that they created, and it was all done by an algorithm, and you could bet on them. And the thing for me, it wasn't about the actual horse racing. I care less. I care less about betting. I don't bet. I don't, and I didn't put a link as, like, there was like no referral link, like, hey, sign up and I get $10 and you get whatever. Nothing. It was just an article about the technology and how I was talking about mass adoption starts to come around, and people don't even realize that blockchain is behind the whole process. It was all about the technology. But that was, I believe, the reason why they took it down. Because a lot of my other videos, this is the first one, and I've been doing this for a whopping 2.5 months. So actually, thanks to everybody who has subscribed. We're at 17,000 subscribers, so thanks. And nothing else has gotten demonetized or anything like that. So it was just about this online gambling. I'm like, okay, maybe that's it. And what I had to do was I had to actually just, do a little research and look at the community guidelines, because that was what the strike was for. There was no nudity, no harmful haters content, no hateful, no violence, no cyberbullying, no spam, no threats, no copyright, no privacy and impersonation, blah, 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 blah. And there's a little section here called additional policies. And when I took a look at that, it states very, very clearly, online gambling casinos. So I was like, well, I'm not promoting it, so why'd you take it down? And then, it talks about linking to an online gambling casino in the video description or comments. So the article was from CoinDesk, and in that article, it linked to the online gambling platform, which actually isn't even open. So I'm appealing the process right now. I'm sure it'll get taken down, but it's probably one of those, algorithms that just takes a look at, like, is there any gambling going on? Is there any firearms being sold? Or, Jesus Christ, organs. Who the hell sells organs on YouTube? Explosives, drugs, alcohol. It probably just looks through that and then initially gives you the strike, and you appeal it, and if it's not there, then it goes away. And it's just one of those things where, 2 things actually. If they can do that and remove my types of video, there is one thing that does concern me. And that leads me to the scam of the day, which we're going to go to at the very end. But if they can do an algorithm that looks that precisely at my video for one segment, which was like 5 minutes, which was a link to a link, then how come they can't take down these scams, which are clearly scams? I don't understand. So in that regard, I'm like, this should not happen. And we will see what happens as far as, this. I'm going to leave a link to this so you can take a look at this. It's on change.org. Change.org. And it'll say exactly how you can get involved. But to me personally, I don't think it's going to be a big thing, because once you get to Congress, good luck. Or Senate, good luck. All right, moving on. Next up, 1.4 billion in Bitcoin on the move, and Ripple's going to pay their co-founder Jed McCaleb $10 million. So this is just a real quick article. And when I see these types of things, first of all, there's not much information. There's not much context. It's just like there's a bot, and it says, look, there's a huge amount of Bitcoin being moved. So if you are a trader, if you are someone who also trades by bots, and you have a bot that's set up to actually see these types of whale movements, maybe just because this whale or an exchange, whatever it is, move these types of funds around, it will start selling things off. And when things start to sell things off, then you have a cascade event, and all of a sudden things start to decline. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but all this article says is a transfer of 1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin is turning heads. Although some Reddit users are concerned that the move implies that a whale is gearing up to rock the market by cashing out, the transfer could also be a crypto exchange moving its assets around for security purposes. So you don't know. So if you're just looking at these, this is the thing that kind of makes me mad. If you have these bots and you have a trading bots also set up, and then there's actual traders who are looking at this going, wow, people are selling, I should sell too. And then it just kind of crashes the market. Not crashes, but there's a dip. So it's kind of annoying. I mean, if you're a trader, you can pick up the dip, and congratulations to you. But I just kind of hate these types of articles that come about because I'm like, who cares? And then as far as like the Jed McCaleb thing, I mean, that guy gets, millions of dollars every month, which he can, or XRP, and he can sell as much as he wants to. Now, that legal document or that legal agreement is going to expire, I think, in a couple years. So which is good because also Ripple also has the opportunity to put on $1 billion worth of XRP onto the market every single month, which does suck. However, I will say that like the last 2 or 3 months, because of a smart contract, it goes onto the market, but they take it back just as fast, and then they roll it into the next one. So we'll see. That's all I want to say about that. Moving on. Next up, XRP liquidity surges to hit new record as XRP adoption spreads wider. Now this is interesting. The adoption of the third largest currency keeps spreading thanks to Ripple's ODL, or on-demand liquidity corridors. 3 best known are Mexico, Australia, and the Philippines. And we're set up with the help of Ripple's partner, MoneyGram. And then what it talks about is that there's a new all-time high surpassing 6 million as far as liquidity. So this was from the liquidity index bot, a bot that I actually like to see. And it talks about the day's progress is 42%. Today so far, 6 million liquidity. All-time high was 5.5, so it jumped up about 500,000. So that's great. And then they take a look down here, the ODL corridor in Australia, the Bitcoin markets, the BTC markets exchange, is close to setting a new all-time high as well. The result of today's trading so far is 4.8 million, while the current all-time high was 5.1. So again, everything's moving in the right direction. This is great for XRP. And of course, just so you know, here's my investments. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Chainlink, and EOS. So if I talk about these a lot, it's because I'm biased. Anyhow, earlier this week, Ripple published data which says that Bitso has been successfully introducing Ripple's ODL technology to its partners in Mexico. So this Ripple published data, let's take a look real quick at what they're talking about. So there's a very long story, which I will link if you want to take a look at it, or let's just take a couple minutes and listen to snippets of this video, and this is essentially the whole story right here. So real quick, this is Barbara Briceño.
Barbara Gonzalez Briceño, and I'm the head of finance at Bitso. Bitso is the largest exchange in Latin America, and we have the largest liquidity in Mexican pesos in the world.
So great. So now we know exactly who it is, and that she has a little bit of clout behind her. Let's hear what she has to say about the utility aspect of XRP, because that is the biggest thing I see in the comment section. XRP has no utility. So let's take a look.
Dynamic with the financial system where we have an underbanked population that doesn't have ease of access. And the vision that they thought for themselves was, how can we really make crypto useful? So they started very early on in a partnership with Ripple, trying to figure out how they would actually find all these use cases for the technology and bring them to the people of the region. We have been partners with Ripple for a long time, trying to...
Okay, so I should have said that is the actual underlying thought process of what they wanted to do years ago, and now it's actually coming into fruition. So let's hear about how that actually works, especially with Ms. Briceño here, who talks about how it works for her.
Liquidity, as we like to see it, is a way of bringing cross-border payments or remittances using the digital asset technology, in this case XRP, without having to go through a financial system. So a clear example is, I'm the head of finance. I usually have to bring money from the US into Mexico from my bank account, and instead of going through a wire transfer and going to the bank and calling someone to help me fix all the different details and waiting for 5 days, I can use ODL, where the dollars turn into XRPs. XRPs are sent into Bitso, and they're immediately exchanged for Mexican pesos. So in the span of less than a minute, I have my money in the treasury, and at a rate that was more beneficial for me and a cost-effective transactions.
So exactly. So when people are talking to me about, like, who cares? Who cares if it takes 5 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day to get your money? Well, here's the problem. So I had this example. I talked about this yesterday, where I had to pay a high amount to one of my suppliers. I live in Texas. They live in Phoenix or Chandler, Arizona. Okay, not too far away. If you're outside the U.S., it's like not that far away. It's like 2 states over, 2 hops over. And when I tried to send this amount of money, my bank rejected it. So I had to I had to go drive down to the bank, talk to the banker, explain to them what I'm doing, tell them about my business, tell them what's going on, because, money laundering. And then from there, I had to fill out the form. I had to wait. And they go, okay, well, everything's going to be approved. It's going to take, since it's Friday, they might get it Monday, maybe Tuesday. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I pay the fees for the bank to make things fast. That's the whole point here. And you guys are telling me it's going to take that long? Yeah, sir, really sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? It just irritates me to no end. If I can send an email to somebody in Switzerland or Bangladesh and it gets there in 30 seconds, why can't I move money around? It's not like they're moving the physical money. It's just digits on a ledger. So I don't get the problem, and it frustrates me to no end. So when I see about things like this, I get a little passionate, because that's going to help everybody down the road. Now, not just not just me. I'm just some small business, right? But let's say you want to move money around and you're a big place. Let's say you're Amazon, and you've got not just customers all over the world, but you have to pay all the employees for all the warehouses all over the world. And you need to get that done like ASAP. Now, you can wait 2 or 3 days, sure. But what about the fees? What about moving all that around? Because it just doesn't work like that. And that's just one example. So I can see the actual benefits of Ripple and XRP and on-demand liquidity without having to pre-fund all these Nostro Vostro accounts. And it just makes sense to me. But moving on, let's talk about here, the great part, cost effectiveness.
We usually tend to see that a transaction, as we're seeing through ODL, used to cost more than 5 times what it's actually costing them right now. So I think that is one amazing advantage of the product. But another one is the settlement, which is almost immediate, which you don't see by no means in the traditional financial system has, and how it has operated for many, many years. Ripple.
Okay, so she talks about five times savings, right? Let's just say it's not 5 times savings. Let's say it's 5% savings. Okay, let's take it down to the very bare minimum. You're gonna save 5%, which is, you're gonna save more than that as an individual. But as a huge business moving money around the globe, if you can save a huge business hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, like let's say in Amazon, do you not think that they wouldn't go for it at some point once they get comfortable with this whole process in cryptocurrency and they realize that, hey, it's not just about all the things that they hear, funding terrorism and the Silk Road, and you're going to lose it all and all that stuff. When you start to see real cases and real businesses using this, and thank God MoneyGram came on board, do you not think they're going to go that route? Now, I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I know some people think that XRP is a huge scam, and some people think it's the savior of the world. And then there's people who are in the middle. But let me know what you think down below. And let's move on. Last up, Square Crypto doubles down on supporting Bitcoin developers, and this is great for mass adoption and moving forward as far as like making things quicker for Bitcoin. In my video from yesterday, I talked about how Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, talked about how he believes that some parts of crypto, especially Bitcoin, are very slow, and they need to build things as far as transactions per second, and they need to actually speed things up and have upgrades. So when people like Jack Dorsey of Twitter and Square, they start to give out free money to developers, hey, that's a good thing. So Square Crypto, the Bitcoin development initiative of Jack Dorsey's payments firm Square, has awarded new grants to 2 Bitcoin developers and called on more to contact them about potential grants. Square Crypto has awarded new grants to John Attack, that's a great name, a Bitcoin core contributor and protocol researcher, and to Tancred Hayes, a Bitcoin developer that focuses on user experience and plans on simplifying self-custody of smaller amounts of Bitcoin and creating a public key server that makes it possible to text Satoshis. Well, that's pretty cool. The grants will allow the developers to work full-time on the flagship cryptocurrency and its Layer 2 scaling solution, the Lightning Network. If you don't understand what Lightning Network is, essentially, it's an off-chain type of process where they're not using on-chain data, or they're not using the on-chain transactions, which slows down the whole network. It's like off-chain, things go on in the background, and then later on it gets locked into the blockchain itself. So it just speeds things up. Square Crypto also called on other developers to reach out if they don't have the financial means to build financial freedom for others. Imagine that. You are a Bitcoin developer and you're like, hey man, I need some more money. And Square's like, sure, here you go. That's it. That's awesome. It noted that grants can be issued to a team or an individual working on Bitcoin-related projects, and that applicants can work from anywhere. So if you are a Bitcoin developer, reach out to Square. Looks like you're going to get some free money. So congratulations to you. Lastly, it says Square Crypto has in the past provided a $100,000 grant to the Bitcoin Pay Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization. So fantastic. That's the type of money that they're throwing around. And why not? And my question always is, why are you doing this? Is it just because you're a philanthropist and you want to grow it and you want to be a part of the revolution? Or is it maybe because, I don't know, Bitcoin drove half of Square's Cash App revenue in the fourth quarter. So the Bitcoin revenue of $178 million was between October 1st and December 31st. And the non-Bitcoin revenue in the Cash App was $183 million. So I'm not poo-pooing anybody or looking down my nose and saying, oh, you're just in it for the money. That's not it. I mean, it's just a smart business choice, right? If half of your revenue was driven by Bitcoin, you would double down on Bitcoin. And if you're looking at all these different stories where you're like, why are these banks getting into custodianship of Bitcoin digital assets? Why is Fidelity getting into digital? Why is TD Ameritrade? Why is Van Eck getting into It's because they're going to make money, and they know they're going to make money, and you can see it right here with, this is just one example. This guy. Cash App, Jack Dorsey. So congratulations to him. And if you're a Bitcoin Core developer, reach out. So that's it for today's video. I want to say thanks for sticking with me through the rants. I know I got a little winded on some of them. But if you got a couple minutes, stick with me. Let's go over the scam of the day. So real quick, thanks everybody. We've been doing pretty well. We just got these stubborn scams. And like I talked about, I don't know why YouTube can't do their job. So let's help YouTube out because they seem to not be able to do their job in this instance. If you're new to cryptocurrency digital assets, just realize everything's a scam. I just got contacted by somebody very prominent in the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency space, and the email looked legit, but I still sent an email to their registered website. So if you think anything is too good to be true, like if you think Ripple's giving away free money, you see it on a YouTube video or on a Twitter account or in some place, just reach out to the actual official website of Ripple and go, hey, you guys giving away free XRP? They're going to tell you no. Hey, Binance, are you doing free airdrops? Hey, whatever. Hey, Ledger, are you giving away free nanos? No. So if you ever any doubt, reach out to the official website. Second of all, let's clean up the community because YouTube is slacking. So in the description of every one of my videos, there's going to be a link. It's going to say Scam of the Day. And if you click on that link, it's going to take you to this spreadsheet where it's going to have today's Scam of the Day. And we're going to pick this first one here. We're going to click on that, and it's going to take us to this piece of trash video. So first of all, how do we know this is an actual scam? Well, let's take a look in the comment section. Well, it looks pretty scammy. However, that doesn't mean anything. Maybe people just are a bunch of haters. I don't know. So what we're looking for is the video itself. You could watch it, but it's just Brad Garlinghouse talking to CNN. What we're looking for is an asymmetrical giveaway, and this is the type of junk that you see. If you send 1,000 XRP, we'll airdrop you 10,000 back. If you send 5,000, we'll give you 50,000 back. So I know most of you are thinking, who is so stupid to fall for this? Well, I did a poll or a survey, and 20% out of the 700 or 800 people that responded have been scammed out of their money. You have to understand, mass adoption comes, you're going to have people who have no idea what's going on. People like your mom and your grandfather or grandmother, and they're going to be investing like, oh, look, a sweet airdrop, I get free money. Maybe that's what cryptocurrency is. They have no idea. So we have to protect them because who's going to do it? Certainly not YouTube. Anyhow, so what do? We're going to downvote this real quick, and then we're going to click on the 3 dots, look for the report flag, and all we got to do here is just say, hey, it's spam. Choose one. It's a scam. This applies the links. Click next, and you say, hey, this is a scam! Exclamation point and report, and that's all you gotta do. So if we can do that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then we can get rid of this, because this thing's been around for 5 days now, and it shouldn't be. There's no reason why this thing should be around. Or actually longer, because it's from February 28th. Today's the 7th, I think? 7th? Yeah, 7th. Cool. All right, so that is it, and thanks again for watching all the way to the end. If you like these types of videos, there's going to be 2 that's going to pop up. They are curated by YouTube for your pleasure. And that's it. So thanks for watching the end, and I'll see you on the next one.